Back, the state of North Dakota is one step closer to passing a property tax relief and reform bill.
This week, the state's Senate Finance and Tax Committee gave it a do-pass recommendation, but it still needs more approval. Valley News News' Bobby Fallon has more on what this bill would potentially do for property owners. Bobby?
Yeah, Justin, Stacey, House Bill 1176. It's one of the big talkers when it comes to property tax relief. Like you just mentioned, it got a do-pass recommendation by the Senate Finance and Tax Committee. It passed in the House by a vote of 81-10 back on February 25th. Now, the House bill, which Governor Kelly Armstrong is in favor of, would give $1,550 in primary residence relief and would also cap local political subdivisions spending at 3% of growth. Now, it also gives voters in cities, counties, school districts, park districts that option to raise that percentage. Now, there are some North Dakota lawmakers that do think this bill needs a few changes. North Dakota Senate Majority Leader David Hogue told our media partner Valley Flag Family Media that, quote, there should be skin in the game for primary residence owners, and that he doesn't think that we should pay all of their property taxes and just let that escalate as the legacy fund grows, close quote. Now, Hogue also went on to say that if the legislature doesn't have primary residence homeowners pay some property taxes, that shifts the burden to agriculture landowners and also those who own commercial buildings. Justin, Stacey.
All right, thanks, Bobby. That bill will now go to the Appropriations Committee. We'll keep you up to date on its progress.
It was this time exactly 1 month ago that Governor Armstrong signed his first bill, by the way, of the 2025 legislative session, which expanded eligibility for the state's $500 property tax credit, allowing nearly 4,000 additional residences to qualify.